Is your engine acting like it is completely out of breath when you try to accelerate on the highway? If your car feels gutless and the check engine light is staring you down, you might be dealing with code P0087. This code stands for Fuel Rail System Pressure Too Low, and it is a serious issue that affects how your car drives and performs. In modern vehicles here in the United States, we typically use what is called a returnless fuel supply system. This means your fuel pump is not just on or off, it is smart. It uses pulse width modulation to vary its speed and deliver exactly the amount of fuel the engine needs at that moment. However, when this code triggers, your powertrain control module, or PCM, has detected that the fuel pressure at the rail is significantly lower than what it commanded. The symptoms are hard to miss. You might feel severe hesitation, misfires, or a rough idle because your engine is literally starving for gas. You may also see additional codes for a lean condition on your oxygen sensors. So what causes this drop in pressure? It is often a weak fuel pump that can no longer keep up with demand, or a fuel filter that is completely clogged because it hasn't been changed in 50 or 60,000 miles. It could also be a restricted fuel line or a faulty fuel pump driver module. To fix this, you need to start with a mechanical diagnosis. Hook up a fuel pressure gauge to the test port on the fuel rail and see if the numbers match your manufacturer specifications, especially when you rev the engine. If the pressure is low, inspect the fuel lines running under the car for any dents or kinks that might be blocking flow. Also check your fuel tank for physical damage. Sometimes a dent in the bottom of the tank can press up against the pump inlet and starve it. If you are handy with a multimeter, you need to check the duty cycle of the fuel pump driver module. This is a voltage signal that switches on and off rapidly. For example, on many Ford vehicles, a 30% input signal should result in a 60% output to the pump. If the electronics check out, you also need to test the resistance of the fuel pressure sensor itself by unplugging it and measuring across the terminals. If the resistance is too high, the sensor is bad. If everything else looks good, you are likely looking at replacing the fuel pump assembly inside the tank. If you are not comfortable working with high-pressure fuel systems, this is the time to visit a professional mechanic, because running lean for too long can overheat and damage your internal engine components. Thanks for watching.